How about now? Can you hear me now? I hope so. I think. Still no sound. Oh no. No, it's not just you. How about now? Can you hear me now? Oh, sounds great, Emily says. Okay. Oh, thank goodness. It's a crazy morning, but I wanted to say good morning. Oh, and I wanted to tell everybody if you're just catching this, I'm Christy. I'm with Firmly Rooted. We have a church in Greendale and Oxford, and we have had great weather here. So I hope you guys have had too. It's been so hot, but that's okay. Greendale Main Street yesterday had a golf cart cruise into summer, they call it. And so we Firmly Rooted Greendale, we passed out free water and a snack. And then where they line up, we did that. And then we sat in front of the church and they parade by and we wave and give them more water and a snack if they want it. And it was hot, but it was good. A lot of golf carts. And they all are happy to see us. And the kids had a great time. They were passing things out and they love it. So, and the people love to see the kids. So it was awesome. So, but it was hot yesterday. But that's okay. That's okay. We had a good day. All right, let's see who's on. Sarah's on. She says, good morning, ladies. Pat, good morning. Vivian, good morning. Alice is on. Good morning, sisters. Emily says, good morning. Trish is on. She says, good morning. Claudia, good morning. Hi, Kimberly. Happy Monday. Yes, happy Monday. The weekends go so fast. Monday is here before we know it. Dr. Colleen, good morning. And I've got some about the sound. That was crazy. And then Nikki's on. She says good morning. She's got the sun. Hope you guys have had good weather there in Michigan as well. It's been nice. It was supposed to rain this weekend, but I think we got rain last night. But that's okay. That's okay. It can rain during the night, right? Let's hope it does it today. All right. We are on day 253 of our book, 365 Truths for Every Woman's Heart by Holly Girth. This is the book that we love. That's that we're really loving the devotions in it. It's going to be hard to find one as good, but we will for sure when this one's over. We've got some time left. So anyway, it's entitled Your Imperfect Story is Powerful. And our just to jot for today is, what's one way God is asking you to simply show up today? So you can be thinking about that while we're talking. They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Revelation 12:11. Among other things, I think Revelation 12:11 means saying out loud that we are human and God is God. This calls for telling the stories where we don't show up as the prom queen in our pristine tiara, the times when we drop the spaghetti on the white shag carpet, the moments when the orange hairy monsters are scratching our bedposts in the dark. And even though we know better, we're just flat out scared. I used to think honoring God meant leaving all this out, but I've come to believe instead that authenticity, honesty, and having the courage to own who we are, what we live, and what we feel can mysteriously get him glory. I think this explains why the stories and the characters in Scripture seem so unedited. It's blue sky clear. There's only one hero in God's story, and it's not us. And this hero calls himself I am who I am. I wonder if this means we, made in his image, honor him when we have the guts to say, I am who I am, too. Even when doing so only highlights how very different we are from this beyond our imagination God. Sometimes we think we need to show off. Because of Jesus, We always and only need to show up. So true. So true. I I've told you I like to do a little bit of research on these verses, so I know a little bit. And this was interesting. This verse, it said, appears in a vision given to John the apostle. It's amazing that this was in a vision, right? But the him refers to Satan, of course, and who is described earlier in the chapter as the accuser of God's people. So that always helps me when I have a little bit of context around it. So, but um, I think the I think this is important just to remember, you know, God saying, "I am who I am." I think that was one of Pastor Tom's sermon series. I am. Was it last year maybe? And that was so interesting. Maybe it was the year before. I don't know. But that's the first thing I thought about was his sermon series, I am. And it said when I looked it up that the believers overcame by remaining faithful to Christ and publicly identifying with him, even when doing so brought opposition. So they were able to stand up. Their lives and words testified that Jesus is Lord. So they stood up regardless. They stood up and said, you know, they did their testimony regardless of what was going to happen. And they had their faith, they were a faithful witness to Christ. And that's what we have to do. We have to do that. Sometimes it's not always easy. Sarah says, often it is these devotions. I don't always say hi or have the ability to answer the just to jot, but I turn it on and try to listen, be fed. Sometimes I just show up. Yeah, so true. Sometimes you just show up. And that's the important part. You show up, you know. Sometimes that's all you have the strength to do, but it's important that you do that. I think that's good. But I think the work of Jesus, the saving work of him, that's what they mean by the blood of the lamb. And it did say when I was reading about this that it talked about the blood of the lamb all through Revelations because, of his sacrificial death. And Alice has something to say. When we show up, Jesus shows off. Yes, yes, yes. So true. So true. I love that. He does. That's for sure. That is for sure. Anybody else have anything? Anything to say? Sorry about the sound at the beginning. Monday, right? I didn't have something pushed. There's so many buttons. That's okay. All right. Well, I hope everyone has a good week. I will be back on Thursday. And sorry the craft room is a mess. Ugh, I'm working on those fat heads. The boys have a tournament starting on Thursday. So when I have a lot going on, the craft room is a mess, and I apologize. So good to hear from all of you. I'm glad you're all on, and I will see you on Thursday. And I hope you have great weather and a good week. Bye.